So, I have another story for you guys, and it involves the same band as last time, Leroy Bell and his band. I think Gig McKell was playing, Terry Morgan was playing, and we were opening for Leon Russell at Jazz Bones in Tacoma, which is a really cool venue. It reminds me of Tipitina's in New Orleans with the balconies that overlook down below, and so it's sort of like this kind of dance floor, but there's audience there and the stage is there, but then kind of the cooler seats are in this rounded railing upper floor thing where you can like loom over the band and they can really see you too. And it's not, yeah, and Jazz Bones is kind of a smaller version, so it's even kind of cooler in that intimate way. I'm not sure what the status of Jazz Bones is right now. I thought they were maybe in danger with current circumstances, but we'll see. Hopefully they're not. But this is, the same band as last time, Leroy Bell and homies, and we were opening for Leon Russell, and everybody was like, oh yeah, he's the Ghost. I guess people call him the Ghost. He's this very enigmatic, classic blues guy who played with Willie Nelson, Rolling Stones, Frank Sinatra, Bob Dylan, tons of huge people. Total legend, and he has his own records too that were pretty big. But he was like this ghost, they said, like he just kind of like floated around, and so like we never really saw him much until he was actually on stage. Like I kind of don't even really know what was going on with that, and he would wear all white with like a white top hat and a white like cape and the whole thing, and it was really cool, a cool show. But he was this ghost. He had the long beard, and he was just kind of this, I don't think I saw his feet touch the ground kind of thing, that kind of a person. I know a few people like that, and he's definitely one of the extreme things. He is kind of this ghost, and so he was, I think, in his charter bus the whole time. But then they set up their band, and we were the opening band, so we set up in front of them. But what I noticed with the band setup that was already there, because they sound checked ahead of us, that on the hi-hat, attached to the hi-hat stand on the drummer, there was a screen, a TV screen, like right there on the drum kit. Like as part of the drum kit was this little black and white TV screen, and it was on. And it was showing the keyboard of the piano, and there was a camera clipped on to the end of Leon's piano, showing mostly his left hand. And then, sure enough, when they played the show, you could see that the drummer was glued to that left hand camera the whole time, and he knew, because Leon Russell has these hits, but he'll jam. He had all the horns and guitar solos and B3 solos, and then he would solo, and everything's this big long jam. And so that's how the drummer knows where he's going or where they're ending and shit. So I was just like super impressed about that. I was just like, okay, that's a cool thing, because then you can just see where he's going. It's all right there. And I was like, that's just a cool little use of, and it was just like some crappy little thing. It wasn't some expensive gear or anything, but it worked great for them, and you could see it working live. So I'm watching the show and super impressed about this element, and there's all this wow factor, guest singers that are amazing and playing lots of hits that you would recognize, and kind of reminding you like, oh yeah, I wrote this for the Stones, but here's my version, kind of thing. And you're like, oh wow, okay, yes, you are a legend. And then I noticed that every single song, when they were done, it would end with this cadence that goes ba-na-na, that goes ba-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na, wah. But like every song was, so they would just do these songs, and then they would jam the heck out of them, with probably not too much of a preconceived notion of like exactly how long they were going to do it or whatever. They would just follow him jamming, and then there was just some wrap-up signal, and they would just every song like we're talking these big blues jams and soulful songs, and then they all just that's the ending, like the same little bow that ties up every single song for his entire set, which was like long, like 4 hours. And every song had that same ending. And I was just like, wow, that's so crazy. And so it just blew me away. And I still kind of don't know how to feel about it, because it's like, seems ridiculous, but also is such an effective tool. And the crowd, I feel like I was the only person who thought that was crazy. I was like, well, nobody else is even noticing or thinking twice about this little, device, this little mechanism that they're using to end their song every time. And so I've asked some people in my life that are like more on the musicology side of things, and I've asked around a little bit, and I can't figure out what that little riff is and what is the origin of it. So like, if people are watching this video and you have any ideas on how to find out where that little thing is from, that, what would you call it? Not a moniker, but it's a little device, maybe a cadence, a tag. Where is that from? Because it's obviously, Leon didn't write that. That's from, I want to say it's like ragtime era, but I don't know. So if anybody knows more about that, it goes like this. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Wow.